Is this thing working? Yep. I'm here with Sylvester McCoy, who is famous for playing the 7th Doctor. And he also has a movie coming out, at least not that long to go in the United States, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. So what can we expect your character to be doing in the second Hobbit movie?
Well, you have to come along and see, pay some money and look. I'm not telling you the story, then you can stay at home.
Do you have a bigger role than you did in the first?
No idea.
No idea. Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it, honestly, I haven't seen it. So I've no idea. Yep. I mean, the role I had, was surprisingly big to me.
Because in the book, he just gets...
It doesn't exist hardly.
Yeah, he has like a sentence.
Yeah.
And my son loved the rabbits, when you rode the rabbits and they were being chased. He loved that part, and it was just great to see you on The Hobbit with all those great actors, and I'm glad that you're going to be in the other parts.
I believe so. Yeah, I know I'm definitely in the second one because the trailer's out and the trailer's got me in it. So.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, yay, there's the 7th Doctor. I was like, yeah, all right. What was it like filming in New Zealand?
Oh, upside down.
Upside down.
Well, no different from filming anywhere else, really. Except, I mean, New Zealanders are great people. They're really lovely. Mm-hmm. They're laid back and not as quite laid back as, say, the Australians. But they don't... I love the fact that if you're famous in New Zealand, no one will bother you.
Really?
Yeah, this upset some of the actors in The Hobbit. Because they came, used to being stopped in the streets, and and they kind of found out they were. So actors say quite a lot of times, "Oh, I don't want to be stopped. I don't want to be. I wish people would leave me alone." But as soon as they do it, they go, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Why is nobody stopping me?"
Yeah, you would think that they would all peace and quiet. No one's like asking for an autograph or a picture or anything like that. Yeah.
So they're very egalitarian. The New Zealanders, I like them a lot. So working with them, with the people, they were the ones that made it different. And a studio is just a studio, it could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. Most of the stuff I did was with green screen anyway, so I could have done it here,
Or you could have done it back at Pinewood or something like that, yeah.
So that side of it was just the people I was working with. That was what made it really enjoyable. I got to do some odd location work, but not much, very little, sadly. Because I like location work. I've always liked location work when I was doing Doctor Who or any other filming I was doing on other things. If it was outdoors, I loved it.
Yeah, well, that was the benefit of the Curse of Fenric. That was mostly outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the later ones were outdoors. Yeah.
And Battlefield. And,
yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
So, speaking of Doctor Who, now this is we're in the 50th year. And looking back on your years, was there anything you wish you could have done differently? Like watching back in your episodes, say, well, if I did this a certain way, or is there anything you always look back on and say, if they had the budget, this could have looked a lot better, or...
Yeah, well, but it didn't. Oh, there's a nuclear bomb just coming in now. I've got to watch what I say, otherwise
yeah.
The BBC will explode on us.
Well, who knows who's listening in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, we all know who's listening.
Yeah, we all know who's listening in.
Yeah, GCHQ in England, and, you're a lot of slimy spies over here, too.
Yes, we do.
We've all got our own slimy spies.
Yes, we do.
I don't understand. They keep saying, well, we're doing it for your protection. You think, come on, get off it. Why are you upset, everybody? We're listening into you. Because, you'll close us down. You mustn't do that. Well, therefore, they shouldn't have done what was illegal, because what they've done is totally illegal. There's no argument that what they're doing in Britain and what they're doing here, and the Brits are doing it as well. We're doing it to other people and our own people.
Yes.
And it's just appalling, it really is. Oh, sorry, I get...
That's okay. That's why
it makes me angry.
Yeah, I get on a tangent like that.
And they keep saying, oh, it's for your own security. Bollocks. Tell us what you're doing. We're adults. We'll decide if it's for our own security. Right. We'll decide if we want that. Do we want that kind of fence or do we want the other kind of fence?
That's right.
We need to know which fence. We might not like that fence.
Right.
Or we might be wiser than you and realise that what you're doing is actually an offence and causing it to happen. It's like invading Iraq. any idiot would know that that's going to increase the amount of people who are going to try and blow up America and England.
Right.
Britain. I mean, you know, it's, the logic is just there. If you invade somewhere that had nothing to do with 9/11,
right.
You know, and you think that there's no consequence? Of course, the consequence.
Yes. So anyway, was there anything?
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I go on tangents like that too. My dad and I would go back and forth. But anyway, was there, looking back, was there anything you wish you could have done differently, or?
I don't know, really. We could only do what we could do with whatever we had at the time.
Yeah, because you didn't have that much of a budget, and
I mean, I
they did their best with what they had. I'll say that.
And I envy the present doctor's kind of technology and all that. Although, in a way, I'm happy I was in the episode where the Daleks first went up the stairs, levitated up the stairs, and I know it was so clunky for them to do, but it was just great that they did it that way. They found a way of doing it.
And you can say it happened in my episode first.
Yes, but also, it's how, I mean, now you see when them fly up the stairs and down, you would say, well, yes, just press a button on the computer and that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
Whereas there, what you needed was 10 men and a couple of poles in the side of a real Dalek, and, they kind of pushed it up, parallel up the stairs, So that was fun to watch them do that. What else? I don't know, really. I regret the fact that the one in Ice, what was it, Dragonfire? No one else was doing ice acting except Sophie and I. Everyone else was just walking about the studio as if they were walking about on the beach.
And you and Sophie were like sliding and slipping, yeah.
And I regret that, and that's a directorial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also we actually even created, comedy, slipping and falling over. So it seemed odd to me when I watched it that, the director didn't notice that there was ice. Because he didn't tell anyone else that it was ice.
I mean, the planet was called Ice World?
Yeah. No, certain things like that I regret. Well, I can't remember all of it now. It's such a long time ago.
So how excited were you doing the Big Finish 50th anniversary story, the light at the end with all the other actors?
Well, it was great. I mean, it's great to be part of it. And I think Big Finish have done a wonderful job. They've done the job that the BBC should have done, really, in bringing us all back together. But with what's fascinating is that I only saw Peter Davidson in my recording.
Okay, so you didn't all record together, you all did it at separate times.
But that's the magic of audio recording.
Right.
You don't actually have to be there all the time. You can be in different places. You could even be in different studios in different parts of the world at the same time and record at the same time. But not actually, we used to go on different days, and
So like you would record on one day, and Tom would come in on another day, and fall home, and all that.
Yeah. And then the magicians, the technicians would sew it all together.
It sounds.
I think that it's a great job they've done.
It sounds really good. Have you listened to it?
I've only heard a bit of it. Yeah, I've got it really.
They did a really good job.
No, I actually only got it the other day when I was in London. I haven't had time to. No, I haven't had time because I've been working. But I will listen to it.
It sounds really good.
But I've done it before, like Big Finish, where
I
haven't been there and they have, and someone else and all that. And the excuse for not having us all on Doctor Who, the TV, is that what's his name, the previous producer,
Russell.
Right, yeah, Russell T. Davies, nice man. He said, "Oh my God, have all those egos in the same room." In fact, you didn't have. You could have filmed us, and we could never have all been in the same room.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see you all together. Even if it was like cameos, like if the Doctor walked into a restaurant, you guys are all sitting there having coffee or something.
Yeah.
Not as the Doctors, but as extras or something. But have you ever considered pitching an idea for a story for Big Finish?
Funny you should say that. I came up with an idea with the previous interviewer.
Did you?
Just today.
Well, then you should probably pitch it then. Maybe they'll...
I think I will. Actually, it's quite a good idea. It's about my Doctor's manipulation. The timeline. You shouldn't really fiddle about with history.
Right.
That's one of the principal, 10 Commandments.
That's what your Doctor does a lot of, manipulating, fiddling with the...
Well, I suddenly thought of what would happen if he actually did do it. Say they were going to drop a bomb on Nagasaki, and he decided, no,
It's not right.
That's not going to happen. That's terrible. That's the worst, the most immoral thing for humanity. And he stops it, and it doesn't happen. And then for a while, you see what happens in Japan and everywhere else. You know, the story carries on, and then the Lords of Gallifrey bring him back and put him on trial and say, listen, you've broken
the cardinal rule. Yeah.
You've got to go back and change it.
That's a pretty good idea.
Isn't it? I thought, yeah. And that dilemma for my doctor.
The more dilemma, should I go back and change it, or
what have I got to do? You know, I've saved. Because what would be good to is, you know, to make it not happen, and then, I mean, because in fact the Japanese were on the edge of
winning.
Losing the war.
Losing, yes, that's right, losing.
They were about to give up anyway, I think. It was all going ahead.
Yeah, they did that so they wouldn't have to invade Tokyo.
Yeah. And, what, the Americans, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Allies had...
Allies, yeah, but it turns out, I think that's their excuse, but I don't know, I just think they wanted to find out what it would happen.
Yeah.
It's like Thatcher sinking the Belgrano. I don't know if you know about that. She sank this big ship full of conscript soldiers. They put around the Falklands. The British said, if you come in 200 miles circle around the Falklands, we are going to blow you out of the water.
The Falkland Wars from the 80s, right?
Yeah, and so that's what we're going. Those are the rules. And a big ship was coming from Argentina with a load of conscripts, 18-year-old boys on it. It actually did go into the circle, but it turned around and left.
And she still.
And Thatcher still said, "Sink it to a nuclear submarine," and they sank it. And there was actually a peace process going on by them with the Americans behind it in Peru that might have brought peace and the whole thing. No one would have been killed. So I mean, it's the same, that kind of dilemma, that horrible. You know, so in a way, I think that would be part of what the Doctor would be tying up with. You know, a better evil, a less evil, and.
Okay.
Anyway,
my last question is the important one because it's the anniversary. What does the 50th anniversary and your place in Doctor Who's history mean to you?
A lot, a hell of a lot. Yes, I'm so incredibly proud and honoured to be part of this. You know, you take a job, and that's all it was, a television job way back then. I hadn't seen Doctor Who very much. I had forgotten about it. You know, I lost touch with it. It was just a job. And then suddenly, 25, 30 years later, it's, you know, you're celebrating it, and it's been applauded, and you've been lauded all around the world. It's terrific.
And it's more popular now than it was has ever been.
And also, when I was doing it, people were kind of uncomfortable with what I was doing with the Doctor at the time. A lot of people were uncomfortable with it. But now people are looking at it from a different angle. And the present producer of Doctor Who,
Moffat,
Peter Moffat, he's just written a thing about my Doctor being by far the most interesting, because I was the one that started to change things and take on, you know, kind of bring through.
So your Doctor was kind of like the precursor to what we have now.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. And it's come out now. It's online somewhere, or it's being shown on American television.
Yeah, the Doctors Revisited special.
Something like that. Yeah, and then in that he mentions that. So suddenly, for a while, when I was doing it, we were unloved by the BBC and by certain, you know, kind of fans.
Right.
But now it's turning, you know, and people are starting to appreciate what we were after.
Right. You're getting a whole new set of fans.
Oh, exactly. That's the great delight. Is that all the new the children? I remember thinking very sad when it wasn't on, and thinking, oh, these are a generation of kids who will never have Doctor Who. Because Doctor Who is very big with children in Britain, and now young kids are coming up, and you know, you're my favourite Doctor, or my fifth favourite Doctor. Or anyway, they've watched it and it's great. You know, they've loved it.
Yeah, my son's watched all the classics, and he's coming tomorrow dressed as you.
Oh, great!
And he loves watching your episodes. He likes Dragonfire. He thinks it's the funniest thing, seeing you hanging from the umbrella.
Mm.
And I said, you know that they never resolved why he was doing that. And he's like, oh yeah, he comes up with this big whole. I'm like, his imagination just takes over.
Well, thank goodness, because
yeah, I'm like,
got lost somewhere in
translation.
It meant something when we did it, and then when it was on the screen, it didn't. It lost whatever it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, and also you should explain to him that when we watched it in Britain, we only watched half-hour episodes.
Right.
So for a 4-episode story, so it always had a cliffhanger.
Right.
And so that was a joke as well. A cliffhanger with me hanging off a cliff.
Yeah.
So we always had cliffhangers in Britain.
Right. Well, that's all the time we have, and I'd like to thank you for your time for the talking with me.
Pleasure.
And I hope you have a good convention.
Thank you. I hope you do too.
Oh, I'm sure I will. It's going to be tons of fun and celebrating the 50th and all that.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.